Well, this is so weird to be up here. I was here yesterday. You know, I can't help but do an ad. Can't help it at all. But right where you all sit is where Yoga Emanu-El meets just about every Tuesday. And we have all kinds of different practices. The practice that we had when I came back from Israel was one where they said, "How are you? How are you?" All the glowing reports that have been stated from this bima, I echo them and have been the recipient of so many. The way I was supported before I left, this wasn't a mission that I looked forward to because it was just very dreaded for me, really hard to do. I'm a crystal alchemist. That's actually a certification. And so I'm a big crystal person, and I have a lot of practices, and I do a lot of things like that, meditation and Reiki and all these cool things. And I know you've had so many people stand before you who have borne witness in Israel on these two missions, the Federation mission and then also Emanu-El. And I wanted to kind of tell it to you or show you something in a different perspective. This crystal person that I am, I brought with me this big rock. And I have stones from just about everywhere I've ever been. I take really good care of them. This has been a practice for me since I was a little kid. When I was little, my mom actually put like crystals in my bathtub. So I really relate to the world this way, the way that some people relate to trees or they have to go hiking, or you know who really relates to me? All the gardeners. That's their life. That's where they feel all of that, and mine is through stones. I ached so badly at Kfar Aza, the kibbutz. It's really beyond anything I can possibly describe, and I just, by way of explanation, I want to tell you that I'm a very, very, very rated G person. For me to watch Beauty Queen of Jerusalem was tough. In fact, I said to Cantor Nyron, I don't think so. I've seen it one time and this isn't for me. She's like, just try to stick with it. You know, I'm not that great at all of that, violence, any of it. And of course, not that any of us are in terms of Israel and what happened to our beloved people there. But it took about all the courage I could muster to go on that mission. I did want to circle back and say the memories were so beautiful of TE 150. And if you ever picked up the list of everything we were going to do, you know, it ended with the mission that Barry and I were chairing in November to Israel, which never did happen. And so us going for this solidarity mission was really significant, and I want to come back now to this stone. I could definitely give you an itinerary. You've heard a lot of itineraries, and I'd rather give you some feelings because I think people really gravitate to that just a little bit more. So I have all these beautiful crystals from everywhere. Kfar Aza was more than I'm so, and I'm sure so many of you share this with me, I'm so lucky, I'm so privileged. I haven't really been in the face of violence the way we saw and stood in Israel. I've never seen blood on anything in real life. None of that is anything that I can relate to easily. I'm sure you feel very similarly. And I saw that rock down there, and this was just this most beautiful kibbutz with one of the citizens of that kibbutz taking us around and showing us everything. I mean, in particular, I just have to tell you, like, to see one shoe on a porch and you knew where the other shoe was. How do you witness these things? Everything felt and was like that. And I could tell you about the cars and the supernova, and those things were equally as, I don't know, I think you really transform when you see them. I think you really do transform. And in some ways, I even felt like it was a portal to be there to really understand what it is to pray harder than I've ever prayed before. But I bent down and I picked up this stone, and I really didn't want to. I really didn't want to, and I did it anyhow, and I knew I would kind of need concrete proof of where I had been, and I'm a person of practices. As you know, I'm here every Tuesday at Emanu-El, and I wanted to not forget what I saw in a very concrete way, so it's by my toothbrush cup every day and as I get dressed, by my sink. And what I do a lot of times is I set an intention, a kavanah, with a crystal. That's what we do a lot in Emanu-El. They'll be like, "Ooh, what are we getting today? Is it an amethyst? Is it a rose quartz?" And this one, every time I see it, helps me remember where I stood and where my first prayers of the day, what they should be about, and who I've left behind when I left Israel, the hostages, the people, all the people, everyone that has been affected. And that's why I wanted to bring you this stone. And I think to myself when I see it, what this stone witnessed. It was in a yard of one of the little houses that was completely demolished and ruined and had seen, I don't even know what. But this stone witnessed it all, just as the trees here have witnessed a transformation of our congregation and things like that. And so my practice is to help this stone, or this stone help me, lead me into prayer. And these are the kinds of things I do, and I thought it might be interesting to share some different ways that you could set an intention with any old stone you might find, and do good things with it, and remember important things, and pray, and remember often that we're not in charge. And this sounds preachy, and I don't mean it to be preachy, but I did want you to just feel some of the feelings that I felt during the mission trip. And one last thing, because so many people have been thanked, I will just bawl, so I want to just do it really short, but Rabbi Deborah Robbins. Too many words, but I'm so grateful for her presence during that mission. She represented you very, very well and elevated every single moment that we traveled in the state of Israel. Thank you, everybody.